Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Almost a little bit of Buddha then, just relaxing.
Mate, you feel present?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan out there, just
got the incense burning.
Yeah, it doesn't
Still
smell,
my thing.
It smells like the marijuana used to.
The mo used to get a bit longer every time.
It is, yeah.
Every time, a
It's
bit
taken
more
him
grey, a bit
since I
more
was here
wise.
last, taking all that time just to get that much facial.
Yeah.
You're
and
right.
you sense the aura, don't you? It's the aura, like when you're walking in.
I don't know if he's got many women, around him, but I think he's about to
Just
have
one for me, mate.
Just
one
one?
for me.
On the
That's all I
record,
need.
right? On the record.
Yeah.
No. On the record.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mind of on KarlBeeTV, brought to you by Mobitech Queensland, the #1 mobile computer technology company in Queensland. My guest today is the crypto guru, Jason Akermanis. Welcome back, mate. Thanks
I
for
don't think
joining
I've
us.
ever been called that in all my life. I've been called everything else, which is quite good, 4-time Hall of Fame, 3-time Premiership player, 2001 Brownlow medalist, but never crypto.
Well, I remember your Brownlow medal speech. I remember your Brownlow medal speech. You mentioned that you'd achieved a lot, but the one thing you wanted to be labelled as was a guru, and then crypto blew up.
Well, that wasn't even around when I won the Brownlow. I mean, it was January 3rd, 2009 when they come up with Bitcoin in the blocks.
So you had the foresight 8 years before that.
Oh, well ahead of my time. There's no doubt when we were in foreign exchange, which I'd been doing since probably 2009 anyway, that you're just screaming out for something outside the system because, when you travel, it's 12.5%.
Pain in the arse.
You tap cards, it's just a scam. So someone sits in the middle and makes the money, uses the banks anyway, but or Visa. So it was always like, well, let's get something outside the system. So Bitcoin being the first, albeit a very inefficient model, it's a good idea. And then from there, I mean, it's gone from 1 to 9,000, basically crypto. So it's exploded. It's interesting. And I love people that are negative towards it or say, oh, it's a scam or this or that.
Yeah, well, I think it's easy to be skeptical of shit that you can't hold or see. And that was definitely my first opinion when you hear about this coin that's online that you can't touch or you can't hold. Like, how does it have value? But we can get into all of that.
It's like an app, I had one of my guys said, "Oh, the internet won't work." Fucking idiot. And I could, he certainly ate humble pie on that one.
Yeah.
It just shows you new things are different. People, but sooner or later, which is not that far away, it'll just be because all those kids coming through, certainly in the Western world anyway, there'll be mobile phones and stuff. Just take off.
Yeah, well, like you don't even see a child without a phone in their hand anymore. Like, we're just becoming one with our phones and technology, aren't we? It's hard to imagine a life without it. And
it doesn't matter which era you grow up in. There's always a great thing in technology, but then there's also the knock-on effects of what happens with kids and stuff in their brain. How's it going over there, Jackie? He's giving a thumbs up. He's happy. Jeez, he's looking a bit relaxed today. He's got the denim jacket and shorts on with a mustard-coloured shirt.
yeah, it looks weird over a monk robe, doesn't it?
It really He'll end up looking like Buddha if he keeps going. He's a little bit overweight, just, relaxed.
Probably need a little bit of enlightening.
Did you?
Sure. Sure.
Enlightening.
Enlightening. You just got called a little bit overweight.
No,
You
he could
okay?
be. He could be.
Oh, okay.
He could head down the Buddha path.
Well, I'll call you overweight for him.
Buddha had the big gut.
I'm comfortable. Buddha was a comfortable man.
Like, man, he's so happy with himself. Buddha, he's eating too much.
Oh, mate.
Do some exercise, Buddha.
No.
Make it even more.
That's only some Buddhas. Some Buddhas are fat and other Buddhas aren't, depending on your faith. Yeah.
Some of those monks.
Well, mate, we've only got a short bit of time, so
Yes,
we need to get
yes.
stuck into it. You've been a busy man. You've been a busy man. Since the last time we spoke, you started your own real estate agency.
Yes, I went out on my own. Yes, that's true.
You decided
So
to
that's very
also,
busy.
I'd love to talk to you about that. But you also decided to spend millions of dollars on a cryptocurrency.
34
apparently.
million, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, real estate wise, we're in Queensland, of course, if you're listening and you're interstate, but people are like, oh, what great timing for you, Aki, to be in real estate. And it's like, it's not that good because there's a lot of realtors, which is fine.
Yeah.
There wasn't always that many, but there's not a lot of stock. So you're getting you're getting so many real estate agents, they'll have to go to the wall in the end because, if you can't grab hold of, normal real estate stock, then you're going to be in trouble. So for us, we did that. But, of course, we've got 300 new house and land. Some of them around here, Morayfield, where we are currently. Yeah. So lots of options, particularly for getting out of renting into your own home. But now everything's changed. You can't get hold of materials, so material costs gone up. Roof trestles, which of course are wonderful, they're taking 3 months to just there on back order. So she's created, as good as it may be, all this COVID crap and travel between countries and goods and services and freight, that's all just gone to crap.
Right.
All shit. So it's holding everything else up, which is costing more money to buy your first house. But then when they do get in, they're getting more equity and, houses are going up on average 50 grand in the next year here in southeast Queensland. So there's an extra number like 68,000. There'll be probably another 100,000 once the borders open up at Christmas. So it puts more pressure on rentals, more pressure on selling, buying. You got 5 buyers where you might have 1 or 2 in the past. Average days on market used to be 32. Now it's like 5.
Yeah, wow.
And some of them don't even get to market. Like I've got to do an auction today, right? And on Monday, so normally I have a half day off, play golf. And Matty Island rings me he texts me and he goes, can you do an auction for me on Wednesday? Like this Wednesday. Normally auctioneers get booked out, like we always do it a month in advance because, you lock the time in.
Yep.
But most of it doesn't actually get to auctions at the moment. And Queenslanders aren't great, they don't really love auctions like Melbourne people or Sydney people. They're happy, they put up with it for a long time. And I said, this Wednesday, 1 o'clock, right in the middle of my golf game. It's good. Sorry, I did edit that bit out. He goes, I said, Wednesday, like 2 days? He goes, yeah. I was like, what happened? He goes, well, we thought that it wouldn't even get to auction because pretty much they never do at the moment. So I was like, oh, okay, all right, fair enough. So 2 days out, he gives me 2 days notice and, we'll get it done. But, that's the reality of the market, So it's a bit crazy. But to get back to your first question about Zucoins, the whole journey of that
segueing for me. I love this place.
Is fucking ridiculous. You couldn't make it up. You couldn't even – you could do a movie about it, which the boys are doing for Netflix with one of my business partners, Alan Andrews. You could look it up. It's hilarious. It's the most – the story doesn't even do it justice. You couldn't even – when you see it, it'll be like a 5-season. It's that big.
Yeah, right.
Just him and I'll be intertwined in there, how it all happened. But so I go to the Bulldogs. I'm playing for the Bulldogs. I meet this guy, Alan Andres, who is the short sponsor and runs a big loyalty and foreign exchange company called Easy Bonds. Okay. And I'm like, and he comes and sits with me and he says, mate, I want you to be on like Che Guevara, which was a radical, I suppose, freedom fighter in South America. He goes, I want to put your face onto a card, which will be a Bulldogs membership card, and we'll split money that way and you'll make money. And I'm like, fucking, that is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. And he looks at me and he said, no, it's good. And I was sort of like, well, what the hell are you guys doing? How do you do it? So even the technology back then, we had, you wouldn't know it, but that group that I ended up starting with and doing foreign exchange, so I got my own foreign exchange company called Supersonic Global Payments, and I would bring in Crown Casino's money, the good money.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Not the dodgy money.
Mate, yeah.
And so when we're in there, we're like, hey, that doesn't look right. So, we're going through this process and everything's going fine, and foreign exchange, I finish footy, I do media, and I do the foreign exchange. That's the reason I went to Albury, because head office is in Albury, so I coach up there. So there's a little bit of a backstory there. So I get to Albury, do my coaching, doing my foreign exchange. Things are going pretty good. And then one night, my business partner, Alan Andres, he's outside looking at the main street in Albury called Dean Street. And all these kids are running down the street. It's 11 o'clock at night in Albury. That's unusual because normally most people are home. It's a bit like Queensland. Sun goes down, they piss off home. Restaurants never make it there because everyone just eats at home. Right. He's like, fucking what the... He looks out and he eventually works out they're chasing Pokemons. Remember how crazy that was?
Oh, yeah, the Pokemons Go app.
And then my boss goes, so I've got an idea. He's a big picture man. He's always like he's a bit like the theoretical physicist that came up with the atom bomb. He's like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't the guy that made it, built it. He wasn't the software engineer, so you need those guys, but he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
He goes, I've got this idea. We'll take Google, we'll take Facebook ads, all that stuff to the next level. We'll call it Zucoins. Now, the reason they call it Zucoins is because ZU is apparently the strongest two-letter combination in Africa. It's like it's like Ra in Japanese. It's just like huge, like power. So Zucoins is augmented reality. Great idea. So what you do is so normally let's just say the coffee club. Everyone knows the coffee club. It was invented here in Brisbane. We've got a coffee club down there in Albury. They will drop bags of money around. You go through the app and it spins in the air. Looks great. AR, you pick it up. Go in the coffee club. Why they love it is they put $1,000 out and about. Let's just say in $20 bags.
Sure.
They can see, because it only costs them once you come back in and redeem it at the point of sale, what they're getting. So they could put out hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they get the numbers directly and they see what they're paying for. So unlike a Google, when you do your business ads or your Facebook ads, you spend $1,000, you get
and you have no idea, like
$7 back. Like they're just making it up, and they're always trying to get this data and tell you how much it's worth, and it's complete shit. So this is the next level on that. So we're like, great. So then we say, let's go and use it, but let's have a worldwide currency. Let's use Bitcoin.
Yeah, okay.
Great idea.
Yep.
We go down to the coffee club. We're redeeming, so we're testing. We're there. We've got the $20 bags of money. I said, okay, I'm going to get a coffee. I'm going to play with Bitcoin. And the merchant's waiting and waiting and waiting for a $4.50 cup of coffee. We're like, well, this is fucking not going to work. You can't be waiting for a cup of coffee.
Just because the transaction's taken so long.
Yeah, so it would take between 4 minutes to 4 hours.
Yeah, right.
This is a $4.50 cup of coffee. And it would electricity and then the speed, so you've got costs and speed. First problem. And then we're like, well, how much? It's going to cost us $40 to $70 if we want to do it quickly to get a $4.50 cup of coffee. Well, this is fucking dumb. So then we said, well, what are we going to do? Because we need a crypto that's going to work.
Yeah.
We looked at all of them. And they all got the same problems. Same three, we call them the trilemma of problems, but they've got costs too much money to move it because it's got to go through an exchange, be mined, smart contracts, all that shit. Speed, of course, it should be instant. And then, of course, scalability. So we look at a Bitcoin, and when they made it, whoever made it, shit, that's a mystery in itself. But whoever made it, whether it was some very smart man at the University of California or whether it was, JP Morgan's or CIA, who cares? But they only made it down to 16 zeros. So as Bitcoin went from not much to a whole lot, I think this morning it was about 63,000, but it was at 70 yesterday, AUD. You can't buy a cup of coffee. And that was actually the reason whoever designed it still wanted you to go down and buy some smaller stuff, now you can only really buy big things because it's too expensive, besides exchanging them for drugs and probably the anonymous world that it is, or midget porn or whatever the fuck they spend money on. So we had this problem. But then we went, wait a minute, we've got a worldwide patented data protection product called SplitLock, which you can look up. SplitLock it's in its basic form, it's double hashing, but it shreds data. So if you got, let's just say a nude photo of yourself.
Yeah.
And what it does is it electronically shreds it and it puts it into little packets and puts it into 6 servers. So for a hacker, it's fucking impossible to get that photo. Brilliant. So really, though, it's too good for the individual sovereignty use, because if you're evil and you're like doing the wrong thing and you've got, all kinds of bad shit like, child pornography, the cops can't actually find unless you're sitting there and bring it back together. So really good for governments, particularly in mining and, military stuff where a lot of the data is picked off in the transit. So we got this great product, but we wanted to get it on everyone's phone and roll it out, because in the end it's just everyone could use it because it's data protection. So then we get really lucky. We got this guy who looks like Borat. I love Borat, 6'4", Robert Novak, but he's Aussie guy, comes and does our IT. If you've got a problem with the email, sets up all our systems, we had no idea that he could code 14 languages. He's one of the 3 blokes on the planet that could build the software that could, match what we wanted to build.
Yeah.
So he said, hey, Robert, could you have a look at this software and maybe re-engineer it, because we don't think any of these cryptos are that good. They're pretty inefficient. Yeah. All right. He fucking takes 12 weeks and goes through all the data. This is how in depth it all was. Goes through and he has a look and he said, comes back to us and he says, look, I think I can re-engineer it, but we cannot patent it. We're like, patent it? Why wouldn't you not want to patent it? He said, because we patent it. The Russians, North Koreans, Chinese, Americans, they'll know what we're doing and they can steal it.
Sure.
But if we do it right, we're going to be decades ahead of these guys. They'll take forever to find out what we're up to. Right. So that was 4.5 years ago. So we test, retest, and to have something simple like a Zucoin to move between my wallet and your wallet, the amazing coding that needs to be built for the simplicity is quite staggering. So I'll give you an example. So when you hit refresh within the wallet, we're testing, you hit 1, 2, 3. Well, in the code, as you build it, generally a 3-tap is like a security alert and it bumps you off the website because a PWA is a progressive web app. So it sits in your phone. You don't want to be, it doesn't go through Apple, App Store or Google Play. Yeah. So it sits in there. So we're testing this and I'm sitting with him in Albury at this stage when we lived there and I'm watching him go and try and find the code that the 3-button problem, for example, to kick you out of the system could be like 12. So he has to go and rewrite all that. So this takes, lots of testing, retesting. Sure. So it's a big process. And, over those years, 34 million from different sources, not myself, but, other guys, big investors, depending on, come out of foreign exchange into AR and then into crypto, being Zucoins. Finally, we come up with split chain. So the difference between a blockchain and a split chain is, honestly, Robert Novak has changed the world. Like when he dies, they'll be all talking about the technology that he built. So if I give you one Bitcoin, Karl, what has to happen? Let's just say it's $60,000. So that coin goes to the exchange. It gets mined by the miners because it's just getting them to tick off that data, that piece of data, and the value of that data is about to move to you. So that's all they're doing. But in that process, with the way the data mining is, it costs about $15,000 to $20,000 Australian through the electricity just to do the service. Then once it's validated, it goes to you. So one Bitcoin has gone from me to you. It's cost me money and time and it's there. And what happens then is everyone's computer that's in the network of a Bitcoin, that transaction goes into the computer as the ledger, and the ledger then builds.
And that's where the blockchain comes from, right?
That's where the blocks are. So if that mentally gives you the picture that the block comes in, everyone's computer gets that one block. I just give you one Bitcoin. We're laughing, and then every other transaction goes on top. So it's like a nectar. It just gets thicker and thicker and thicker, which is a problem because it slows down, I should say, computing power. You've got servers, you need electricity. It's terrible for the whole process. Great idea, but not really real world speed that technology is, say, 12 years later, which we're at now. So split chain. One Zucoin goes from my wallet to yours. So instead of that process where it's got to go to the exchange, all I need is a server and it can go straight from my phone to yours at the cost of a text message, the speed of a text message. The difference is when Robert designed the fractioning can go down to infinite number of zeros, which means in 500 years you come back and you can still buy a cup of coffee. That was the whole point. If you can't buy a cup of coffee or something, a little lolly or something, then you failed the ultimate test that Elon Musk says that you're not a world currency. You're limited.
Okay.
So that is the difference between, so the split chain then, your phone, my phone, all the people within the network will hold the data. There's also data that's kept in servers, so that's the ledger. So you can see the difference between a blockchain, very inefficient, but, good try, good first up effort, versus a split chain, which of course does all the data, the fractioning, the peers are the network.
Yeah.
Still decentralized, but you can use it anywhere, anytime. But then you've also got the AR. So when you go and travel, so if you go and use the miner group's Oaks Apartments here, but they're all 63 countries. So instead of getting absolutely reamed on 12.5%, you go into the hotel in the UK, not only will you pick up bags of money because they want you to, $400, you go there, get your massage, you get your coffee, all that lovely stuff and your room rate. But as you go to leave, they accept Zucoins. You've just saved yourself 12.5% just on that.
Just on the transaction.
Just on the transaction. And that then tells you, as it should be, this is the first not only worldwide currency, but it's actually the first certified currency and the world's first compliant. So you've got KYC and AML. So when you got foreign exchange, anti-money laundering, and know your customers, like the two biggest things. So when Crown got done and banks get done, anti-money laundering is a big problem. You know, they bring money in, they go to the casino, they try and wash it. Where's that money come from? On our system, unlike a Bitcoin or Ethereum or, XRP, you could still be anonymous. So you could still go on the dark web and buy drugs and all that shit. You can still do that with a Zucoin, but if the government think that Karl's doing that, they can ask us for the transaction and we'll provide it, and basically you're going to get caught.
Right.
So it's 3 decades ahead, but it's also getting everyone's head around it. So the negativity is on the people that, besides being just out and out fuckwits, they've got their own interest at stake because they've probably got a bunch of other coins. They don't want one product. It's like the Apple iPhone. They destroyed, Motorola and Nokia, just destroyed them. They don't want Zucoins to actually do what it says it's going to do, which it does do, because all those 9,000 other cryptos pretty much fucking, it's like game over for them.
Yeah, well, so my understanding and why Bitcoin is held in so much value is because something I said earlier, which was that it is decentralized, right? It can't be traced. All your transactions are anonymous. That like this blockchain technology allows the proof that you can't scam. Like you either have a Bitcoin or you don't. Like it lives there, and that's why the mining has to occur so that the blockchain continues to develop and the Bitcoin can be, well, not traced, but can be legitimate, right? Doesn't having a server or needing a server for Zucoin mean that it's not decentralized? It's actually centralized by you guys. And
technically it is, but it also isn't. Like it runs outside the system, but there's also, the great thing is like UL, which is the big certifying company in the world. People go, what the fuck would you want to spend, $300,000 or whatever it was to get UL to certify your coin? Well, look on the back of your phone. UL's there. They're the big French company. That's like a government. Sure. Any product that you want to sell overseas, you've got to get it certified in some way, shape or form. UL do that. But the other thing too, and not a lot of people know this, but there's a lot of smart dudes out there. They could trace all those transactions now. And they've caught so many drug dealers and stuff through the Bitcoin network. Right. So they think that they can use Tor and on all these sort of dark web products. But it was invented by the CIA, Tor, the old onion route. So they know how to unpack it. So they should. It's harder. That's the whole, it's harder to trace. It's harder to get.
Sure.
But once you sort of know, drug dealers tend to try and hide their tracks, but they're usually sitting in the same spot or moving around, but they're using similar devices to be, unable to be found. Yet the irony is it makes it easier in the end to find them because there's only going to be there's only one drug lord versus millions of people. So Bitcoin has got a big problem coming up, which is it's not quick enough, costs too much, and it's just not scalable. It's never going to change. So it's always got a use by date because in the end, Bitcoin can be 200,000. Everyone's like, look at me, I'm fucking loaded, I'm rich, I bought Bitcoin at fucking $5,000. I'm a really smart dude. But in the end, you only ever buy maybe a car if you're lucky, maybe a boat, maybe a house, big ticket item. Yeah,
you don't clearly see how it's going to be this worldwide currency.
It's never going to be a worldwide currency.
Right.
And even some of the stuff where, let's just say the ASX, they're trying to use a blockchain technology to hold ledgers and stuff. Yeah, but it's still fucking inefficient. It still doesn't really do the job that you think it's going to do. So I think when they say blockchain, it's certainly the best marketed product on the planet in crypto is Bitcoin. So everyone's still now wanting to use it. Banks are going to loan against it. There's lots of great things happening. But they'll all be superseded like it always happens. The Model T Ford and the Bugatti Veyron, like I say, they're both cars, but they're 100 years apart. The software engineering in this coin or that car or the way it is, it's light speed or light distance apart. Still same product.
Right.
But in the end, banks are slow. They don't want to use it, but the first one in can loan against it. You could charge probably 9, 10, 16%, where at the moment it's, I think it's 0.1% they're getting it for. They're not making as much money on home loans, but if they go down this track, it's like 60% of adults in Australia have some type of crypto. Like, what fucking how much more data do these banks need to know that? Oh, maybe we should be in that space. And all those kids coming through. So esports, you're winning those tokens. Well, you just win. You can be a 14-year-old kid now winning Zucoins on your esports. You can actually go and spend it and buy shit. And if you're really good, you can make $500,000 in a cryptocurrency in Zucoins. But it's going up as well because there's only ever 100 million fucking coins.
Yeah, and that's what the next thing I was going to ask. So my understanding of Bitcoin is that there'll only ever be 23 million made.
21.
Thank you. And
3 million are lost. So there's only ever, those guys threw them out and some.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, someone lost his password or something.
And then someone bought pizzas on it and fucking lost his phone. So 3 million apparently are gone. So 18 million left.
Yeah, right. And so that's why it'll always hold its value because there's only a limited amount. I heard that you can trade less and less amounts, but I wasn't aware of obviously the time it takes to transact and all of these other hurdles you have to jump through in those spaces. Is there a cap on Zucoin in that same way?
So there's only ever 100 million ever made.
Okay.
The good thing is it does fraction down to infinite number of zeros.
Yeah.
Which on your phone doesn't look like it is, but in the background through the PWA and the way it's designed, it's no problem. So people go, well, can I get some? Yep, no worries. What's the expected value? Which is a normal question. So with Bitcoin, quick maths tells you 100 million divided by 21 million, it's about 5. 100 divided by 5 is 20%. So Zucoins already would have a market value of 20% of Bitcoin. So at the moment, that's about $14,000. The minimum you can buy, so it's the most expensive coin ever go to market to buy on an exchange, being $60. And the reason that is if you go on to BritTex or Albait or the other exchanges that are coming on, you can't get it for $59. It won't even recognize the transaction. So anyone that's got them early investors, guys that were able to get refunded coins that, go back to the market at the same price, they've already got great value. But when you go from 60 to, say, 14,000, that seems like, oh, shit, that's going to be an awesome jump. Most cryptos in the last 6 months that day one have, no matter the price, have exploded by a 50 times multiple. And then it comes back down and then off it goes again. So when you look at all that, you're like, oh, shit, that sounds quite amazing. Too good to be true, probably. But the reality is that's still not the correct value because you've got a product that is so far superior. So where Bitcoin is today, that's not only can a Zucoin and will go past that at some stage, maybe double or triple, doesn't really worry us. The reality is the whole world can finally use, and a country, South American country, which are currently using, there's two of them, using, one's using Bitcoin. The other one is wanting to use either Ethereum or XRP. They can just change at the drop of a hat and say Zucoin's our currency. Or here you go, everyone, spend $500 million. How far do you want to go? You have no idea how fucking big this is. So when I talk to investors, or someone that wanted coins or where it's all going, I say, hey, you keep investing in your cryptos. Just buy regularly and hold. You'll always make money. But at some stage, if something comes along better, you want to be on that fucking horse. If you're not, that's okay. But in the end, you can get paid in it. You can get paid in the future. Half your salary, you could buy a house with it. There's a builder here, and there's another builder as well that if you got the land, you can build your house with Zucoins.
Yeah, right.
A completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, so I guess something that you have to rely on for Zucoin to take off or to work is the interest or people wanting this product. So how do you guarantee that? Like how are you so confident that Zucoin is going to become this thing? Is it because of the easy transaction?
No, it's
processes?
actually, I reckon it's the
technology,
the AR, because within the AR you've got Zari, which is the white label.
So AR augmented reality. And
so
when you say picking up bags earlier, like they're using their phone and they're saying, oh, there's a money bag there, I'm going to pick that up on my phone.
So merchants don't really give a shit. They want you in either online buying their stuff or in their shop.
Yeah.
So for them, their interest is always about getting you to buy their products. So to be in their coffee shop or Harvey Norman, for example, like Zari then can just drop, many, like they spend, this is a true story. So Harvey Norman spends $6 million a week on advertising. So when you get in your car and you drive around anywhere in the country, you always hear Harvey Norman ads. That's 300 million a year they spend. So usually that's around 17% of your total what you make. You always spend on marketing. Well, for them, they only need to put $1 million into the AR and use Zari, which so it'll be Harvey Norman's AR. You pick up all the bags of money, you go down and get your vacuum cleaner and get your new fridge and all that stuff. But you can pay with Zucoins. Like they're one example of one merchant, let alone the millions of merchants around the world that at the moment they can only really use, terminuses from the bank, Verizon, whatever it is, pay your card. They pay the transactions cost for the terminus, anywhere from 1.5% to 3%. It's a lot of expense going out the door. But with crypto, and they just need a merchant wallet paid, and then over time the dollar goes down with depreciation and inflation, and then at the end of the year, all of a sudden they've got coins, but the coins go up in value because it's not like a dollar. You could just go and print more. Yeah. So for merchants, that's where the key comes from. And soon the customers will say, "Oh, don't you use Zucaz or Zari? Where can I pick up the bags of money? Because we're all tight. We want a discount. We want to feel like we're getting something more for our money. And by the way, can I use Zucoins?" That's because you got next level of both sides. Yeah. Let alone later down the track when there's Zoo Chat, because you got WeChat that's now getting restricted by the Chinese, but you've got all your videos and stuff you can keep private now. You don't need YouTube, or you can make them public. But you've got the protection. You don't need to have a third party like a Facebook or YouTube. You don't know if they're stealing your content, and they can and they do. That all goes. Yeah, it gets so. So in the next 10, 15 years, so by the time the Olympics are done here in Brisbane, we'll have another conversation and you'll be like, holy shit, fuck me. And it doesn't really matter if it's not in 1 billion people's hands. Yeah. 100 million, it'll happen quick enough. But then, you won't be using your cash. You might have your card if got a good relationship with the bank, but you'll always be looking at your wallet versus cash, and can I get paid in it? Can I get my salary in it? Or part of it. And eventually, over time, it'll be a bit like Total Recall, where he goes to Mars and he's got a little chip, and the chip tells them how much money he has. That'll be like crypto. Yeah, and
I guess this might be just a good point to speak about broadly, and you might know more about it than I do, but one of the key things in terms of like the dollar that we hold, I think it was Nixon's presidency where he passed some sort of legislation where like money used to always be, what's the word? Backed by gold, right? So money always equaled X amount of gold. And in the 1960s or whatever, it was the first legislation, I'm sorry if I'm misspeaking, where now money actually can exist outside of its correlation with gold. Yes. And so now the banks, the central bank, and you can get into conspiracies here, but they have the ability to continue to print money, and that's why money will always depreciate and always lose value over a long period of time. And with crypto have a finite number that can be mined, that can exist. It's not like it can ever be overprinted. Can you share just your knowledge? Because I know I just misspoke an awful ton.
Digital. I store digital data, and your digital value can happen. But when they got rid of gold and silver, they did it. Man, it was one of the most brutal hatchet jobs in the sense of the value of your sovereignty individuals. Like they just took all their gold off them, and it was to a point where if you didn't hand it in, you're going to get shot. Like it was that bad. And so when the dollars, particularly the US dollar, was backed by gold and silver, it made sense. It certainly gave value, and you could sort of see what they were trying to do. What they said was, gold's not the only thing in the world. It's a precious resource anyway, and you can use it for other things. It's a great conductor of electricity, all that shit. But what they did was say, we're building roads now, so that then backs our dollar. We're building trains, we're building buildings, we're adding value as we go, and then, of course, we're getting money in from foreign investment. So that was the other part of it, Saudis and all that. When all the big money comes into, say, New York or Wall Street, they're saying, now we offset it like they do here in Australia. So the future fund, you'll see, is always correlation with the debt. Right. So what they're saying is, Australian debt's gone to 400 billion. Well, they won't do that necessarily if they don't have the futures fund, which is worth about the same. You can always see it's good because it's almost like your bailout. We've got the money because they've invested in overseas things locally. Sure. It's like a huge super fund, but it's good for us. So what they did was they're pretty smart. They worked out that, okay, well, we can back our whole bit of land and everything we've got, and that then is what the value of the dollar is. Plus what's going on in your economy, so we'll measure it that way.
Okay.
But when you've got, as you do, anytime you print money, like money works because everyone believes in it. That's the only reason. So you go back to tulips, you could add anything as an exchange of value and money. So cryptos are like the next sort of advance in technology, but of course people get used to, and they like the cash, they like the green $100 bills, or the
hold.
In America they're the same color, but the greenback and all that sort of stuff. And their economy still in America has still a lot of cash checks. So in some ways they're advancing, but in a large proportion of the population they're still quite backwards. Where Australians are the opposite. They're very sort of in front of mind for cards. Now they're on their phones. I mean, you don't even carry your wallet most of the time now. It's on your phone. So we're quite advanced. You see that in Singapore. You see that in other, Hong Kong and a few other places. But the reality is when it's like a share, if you've got a limited amount, well, you want them because everyone else wants them. But when you've got a worldwide currency where there's only 100 million, be fuck why a bank or a big, investment house or – the investment bankers that sit inside, Westpac and they've been buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and all those things for years. No one ever talks about that. And here are the banks saying we don't fucking trust it. It's a scam. What a load of fucking shit. They're betting on it and winning in the background, yet are always slow to want to roll out mass adoption because they think it's going to affect their shitty 200-year-old model of I loan you money and you pay back and I make money. It's just a great scam. It really has been. Nothing wrong with money. We all love it. We like lots of it because it gives us lots of choice. But in reality, in the future, where you're running around, you could be anywhere on the planet, it's always needed a worldwide currency. And whoever got there first and could prove it and make it work, man, it's like going out of space. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
You'd be laughing. And you genuinely believe that this is it? Like, it could be.
Despite being in it and, my belief system's in there somewhere,
of course.
It's more that Elon Musk, or blokes of that ilk, all the really smart guys. That's why all the negativity is. So you can't build that. You've got these teams in Silicon Valley. There's hundreds of them. How can one man build that?
I think one article said, you're local IT guy.
He was a local IT guy. But you're talking about a guy, which is sort of unjust for poor Robert, because Robert doesn't just sit there by himself. Like he's got all the best software engineers around the world that he accesses. You do that on chat forums and, you and I would never know where they are, but they're there. And so when he needs help, he gets help. So he's got a team of 1,000 people who are in some way filling in the gaps for his knowledge when he needs it over 4.5 years. So, and that just shows you the human nature. Well, look at this negative. Look at this negative. Oh, he can't be that good. There's teams of fucking hundreds in Silicon Valley and they can't do it. Yeah, that's right. Because most of those 100 in Silicon Valley are just fucking average coders. They can't fucking build out the software. So, it's not Robert's problem that he's more advanced than these blokes.
Even if they're incredible coders, they're missing that thing that you mentioned earlier, the idea.
But you haven't got the idea, but they don't have split lock. That was the key. Like split lock changed the game. And us luckily had it where they just didn't. So they can't quite see a split chain outside of the normal blocks, contracts, NFTs, all the normal stuff to exchange data and add value.
Yeah.
So that it didn't have it. And
it's like that analogy. Like what do you see when you stand too close to an elephant? You see a great wall. A great wall, right?
Yeah,
like you have to step back to see the whole picture. And if you're so invested in blockchain and it being the only thing, like how you're supposed to think of another technology or another way, just suck down the rabbit hole.
And I think those guys are definitely sucked into that. So it's almost like, you do go down the wrong rabbit hole and it's just endless if you go down the blockchain from 2009. But it's 2021 and there's a product that's decades ahead of that. It's 12 years on then. So in 12 years, we've been able to come up with something so amazing. So what will either happen is everyone will try and copy it and try and add their own and just, try and do their own currency in it. Yeah. But man, as soon as it's all done and dusted, I'll tell you, every single person will get their phone hacked. They'll be trying everything to get that source code or how it all works in the background.
Yeah. So can that server get hacked? Like it,
Yeah, but they're in packets in different servers.
because it's split, like the
different countries, different servers, different firewalls.
yeah.
Like,
So there's just no way they'll be able to piece it together if
they could disrupt a little bit. Most hacking is cheating. Let's be honest. So that's whenever I've been hacked, it's fucking a lot of it is state run, particularly Russians and North Koreans or Chinese. Like they've got whole buildings for this shit. And they will cyber attack governments, probably not you or me, but they still will if they think you're a problem that they want stuff from.
Sure.
It's nothing unusual. Plus all the normal sort of pushing around of different viruses that they're trying to get into your information. My phone, there's always some dodgy text or a number from trying to get you to click on links, emails.
crazy how far we've come from the Nigerian prince emails. Like now we're
Well, that guy was in Louisiana.
Yeah,
That's right,
yeah.
He wasn't even anywhere near Nigeria.
made a mozza, didn't he?
Made a smart man.
Very smart man. So is this so that this platform is going to be an AR platform when we have
That's
the chips?
Zucoins,
Yeah, so we have the chips in our head, or we're wearing the glasses all the time,
In the future, yeah.
or even we're just on our phones, right? And we're looking around, kind of like Pokemon Go. We see like, oh, there's a discount code for Zara, or there's like a $20 off your breakfast at Coffee Club. You can pick that up. You go to Coffee Club, the Zucoins built into whatever this platform is as well. You have your Zoo chat. So you guys, I guess, are really looking at creating not just this one coin or this one product, but almost like a new platform on the internet.
It's sort of advancing what's already here.
Yeah.
So it advances. The AR really does for marketing and merchants advance the Facebook, amazingness that, they're a huge engine on just ads and clicks and getting businesses to pay for it. But then the AR does that, but the AR solves a lot of problems with merchants trying to get you in or online. And then the crypto, not only can you use it in every merchant in the world, because any merchant can become a Zucoins or a Zucoin holder and have a wallet. The key is always that PWA, Progressive Web App. So in the background, it's running through the website. So it's a hair bit slower than an app, but you don't have any third party that can fuck it up. Like Apple can fuck it up. If you've got an app on App Store and you're paying 30%, then they can shut you down anytime they want. Same with Google and probably Huawei and fucking Samsung, whatever they've got. So you're talking about a system that's outside the system that works for every single person on the planet, should they have a mobile phone and they can get internet.
That's wild. That's wild.
It's bigger than big, but shit, if they put a cell or a base station on fucking Mars, you can go there and buy shit with it. You don't have to take dollars with it. You can just take your phone and we can buy goods and services if you set up on another planet. Like, it's just fucking crazy.
Is like security, right? And sorry if you don't know like it in detail, but obviously a lot of the problem with using your Facebooks, your YouTubes, all this stuff is that they're constantly selling your data to advertisers. And like I talk about a tie with Glenn and then I see a tie ad on my phone.
The phone is recording,
It's wild. It's always going.
It's made espionage the easiest thing in the fucking world.
Yeah.
If you're dodgy, you always get caught.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
So in this case, that your data is protected, like you're not inputting any data, you're not, I guess, like how does security work in terms of the data you input into this platform or this app?
I think so. Humans are wonderful. They're very much creatures of habit. So as they move around the earth, there's a few outliers. They go to different things, but they generally do the same things most of the time. So the AI within, say, a Zucoins will know because your phone, as it's coming in, hey, by the way, you get an alert if you've got your notifications on. There's $100 down there for Maya or wherever. Yeah. We know we might have seen that you're in Maya and you like going in there to get the cheap deals. So that's the AI that we like because it's adding to you, not to some third party who just wants to fucking make money out of you.
Yeah.
So for you to get discounts, fucking good's that. That should be what it's all for. As opposed to advertising, well, I just want fucking some company to give me more money to go to you and look, there's some value in me just selling, ties or the car you like. It's all of a sudden they're popping up and they're listening to the phone now. So, I always say and yell into my phone, hey, can you fucking fix your stupid autocorrect? Like, that's fucking frustrating for guys with fat fingers. The amount of times you type quick and fucking you look at what you said, you're like,
oh, duck me. Jesus Christ.
Duck me. Shit in the shut.
Yeah.
fucking, duck always go there or shark. Fuck, give us a spell as if I want to say that. So I think within the platform and the data within there, we don't need to sell it to any third party. But when we talk to, say, a big merchant, say, well, why would I use Zucoins? We say, well, no worries. So we'll have the data that we can use to help them understand that their customers are coming in, but you're losing 30% because they're not picking up the bags of money. You could get more traffic, make more sales.
Right.
Business can boom.
Yeah.
Just use Zari or Zucoins. Obviously, we want you to be a Zucoin holder if you like. They can pay in the crypto. You store or value in there. So there's a whole lot of wonderfulness for them. But, we still have to build all the APIs in between everyone on the system, including the exchanges. So it's a big job, but, it takes time. But the coin goes live, I think on the 15th. It's ready to go, but the peers, because you're KYC compliant, all their phone numbers link them to all the systems. So we did that so there's no sort of trolls or just, anonymous people coming on with, as you could do with emails and fucking all that other shit. So your phone number links you a lot to 3 or 4 different sites already around the world. Generally government back, whether it's Medicare or whatever you've got in your country, it does that already. So we know who you are. Yeah. And that's the compliance side. So, we don't want any more problems from our own government because, they come after you. They can make life difficult. Well, if you do everything right, you go, well, no worries. There you go. That's all fucking off you go and have a look what you need and do your audits and see you later. It's a good product.
Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing, right? Like, we spoke about the anonymity. Jesus, it's
a hard word.
Anonymity. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
comes up with this shit.
Oh, right. Just make easier words. Fuck me.
You mean just anonymous? Yeah, just that. Man, there's so much easier, man.
That's obviously one of the biggest attractions to things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and like we again go down the rabbit hole of, well, the government is slowly taking away our freedom. They're looking to create smart cities where everything's run on IoT sims and everything's controlled by the government and private ownership disappears. And again, having this decentralized currency outside the system is so attractive. But like in this case, your phone number's tied to your Zucoin. You made a really good point. Don't do the wrong thing, and everything's going to be okay. Is there an opportunity here for the government to step in as Zucoin? Are you going to write like legislation, or not legislation, pardon me, but like policy into Zucoin or Zucoins to stop that ever becoming a thing? Like, how long until the money, like how much is enough money for a big party or for someone to come over and take this product to centralize?
I don't know.
Too far
you see with the Chinese, like what they're trying to do. They're trying to use Ethereum which is the system they like to use for their yuan, so their RMB. And that's you thought the Chinese were ahead of the game. That is such a dumb idea. Not because Ethereum is not a good platform, but Ethereum can externally jack up the cost of a transaction at any time or make more coins.
Right.
Fucking that's not a very good idea, is it? So when you're trying to get control outside the system to work in your blockchain or your split chain with your country, why would you be doing that system when you've got, they don't know probably because, they haven't heard about Zucoins yet, but there's so much more to it. So if the government says, and the problem with, say, every government's different at the moment, not all the same or all different, but you've got, so if I have Zucoins and it goes to, as it will, $12,000, you're worth a couple of $1 billion. If I was in New Zealand, I get no capital gains on that. But in Australia, they class it as property.
Right.
So you get a 50% discount if you hold it for over 12 months. Yep. So you go from 47.5 if you're the top tax bracket to like 24.7. The point I'm making is they'll have to start to get better at where they class it, because as far as I'm concerned, I can't go and live in my Zucoins house and make it my principal place of residency and get a discount. So why is it classed as property asset, and it's classed similarly to like a shares when you have shares. So different countries are around the world, there's no tax on crypto, particularly capital gains tax. So Australia is, again, behind. Do I want to go and live in New Zealand for 1 or 2 years to get their residency to get no capital gains tax? Well, if you've got a couple of billion, you probably want to do that, because as you're moving money back, you got to, instead of 24%, you've got nothing.
Yeah.
So there's lots of other things around, and everyone that's got Zucoins, their biggest problem is going to be capital gains tax in the future because they're going to fucking pay it. So they're going to make money, and then you got to pay it. And they've done fucking nothing, the government, not a thing to help us. They'll say, oh, yeah, we did. We gave you an education. You've got roads. And that's true.
Sure.
They have done something.
Yeah.
But to take 24, if you had $1 billion and you wanted to cash it in and go and buy a house and all that shit, you'd be paying $240 million in tax. I have not fucking done that much to earn $240 million because our design, we spent the $34 million, all that stuff. So you're better off going to a vault bank, which is now, you can do that. They're using Bitcoin at the moment and get 16%, pay it back, but you offset that with your capital gains. Like, instead of paying 2%, back to the bank, you can pay 16 and get a nice little discount. But fuck, they will change over time. They will get better at it. They'll legislate it better. But at the moment, there's a lot of issues around it. But as like everything new, the government they want control, but they're happy to have no control if, unlike say illegal drugs where they don't make anything, they'll do anything they can. If they just fucking legalise drugs, they can make money.
Tons of money.
You can't be seen to be, cocaine's fine, marijuana's fine, whatever the fuck's illegal. Well, if you fucking made it yourself and taxed the people and made it regulated, and then you knew where everyone was at, you had a database which said, that guy could only do that.
Educate people more, like people would
just have rehab centres like they do in Portugal. It's all fucking hell for leather and off you go. People want to do that shit, they're going to do that shit. So you might as well make money of it. So the government's, in some ways are always behind. They're too conservative because they want votes. They're not really leaders. They're just fucking blokes that win a popularity contest. But that said, look at the virus and the effects. Probably couldn't run a fucking chook raffle, to be honest. So how are they fucking going to get this shit right? But over time, there's some smart economists and tax experts who'll go, no, we need to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that'll happen as people start to use it more and it becomes more popular and more
mass adoption.
Yeah.
So when you get a Zucoin now, we say send it out to 100 people. Just send a fraction. We've got 2,000 people doing that. That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
people you like that. So I know we'll wrap it up. But if you want Zucoins, you can buy at zucoins.com. You can buy it through the exchange. The off-market coins, there's always some around. So that means you have to know me, that knows all the investors, or if there's anything that some people may have coins and they want to, that their situation's changed, so we're able to buy them off them at less than market rate. But yeah, that's the only way you're going to get them, other than you can just go and buy them normally in the future.
Yeah, yes. And you said it's launching soon to buy normally, right?
Right, it's right to go, but the exchanges, so the 15, so all the Zucoin holders, about 2,000 of them, they get 10 coins to test. And then that they basically make sure they're up to speed with how the system works, pretty easy. Then they get all their allocation, all their coins, back your phone up, make sure you got the fucking backed up to iCloud, make sure you got your, your external hard drive, because if you lose your phone and your coins are on there, they're gone. Bit like
right,
Bitcoin.
so is that where they're stored?
You can store them on your phone. There's an external, there's some new ones around. I think there's Truckus, what was the other one? That you can, that's digital wallet, but external hard drive, like a USB.
Yep.
Put in there, or you can do it in the cloud. You must always back it up.
Right.
You can back it up within the app as well.
Yeah, and how do you log into this app? Like, so how do you log in?
So what happens is, so if you'll be recognised on the system, because if you buy coins, so you come into the database, they have your number, email, what your name is, and then when it comes to your phone as a link, you click the link, opens up in the PWA within your phone. That's your wallet. Sits separate to all the other apps, because that's how it's rolling. In there, it'll say, Karl's got X amount of coins valued at this US dollar. Then you've got, buy more coins, sell, or, all the normal transaction stuff. And it'll come up in a QR code if they request it. I want $10 AUD, which is, 0.06 of a coin.
Yep.
Pay that, done, transfer done. Thanks, got the service gone. So it's all there. It's fucking brilliant. But, it's all the safety, the links, everything, and we still get people fuck it up. Like, it's not that hard, but you couldn't dumb it down. Even a baboon could probably get it right. But
mate, you did a pretty good job to dumb it down for me, mate. I'm kind of getting it, which is nice. No, it sounds really exciting. Obviously, something you're super bloody passionate about.
Yeah, I would never think I'd be explaining, because when I saw it, my head fell off going, what, the blockchain? How does that work? But I started up and then listened to a few podcasts and then got my head around it and went, now I get it.
Got to get stuck.
Actually, as most great things are, pretty simple. But the data, the new world, the new age. But then we only designed Zucoins out of necessity. It wasn't even something you could think was going to be a worldwide currency. We just wanted to use it with the AR.
Yeah.
And fucking here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
One last thing. Did you have someone? I just wanted to double check. You'll lean into the mic now.
Jackie Chan over there, he does a lot of listening. You could see
That's why it's so
the hamster
wise.
wheel and the cogs in the machine just going and going and going.
That's why it's so wise.
I know he's... Okay.
I'm looking forward. 30 years' time, I'm going to be 58, and that'll be my midlife crisis. And I'll go to Peru and I'll climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and he'll be up the top.
I think that's in
I'll
Kenya,
ask
but
Glenn.
you know. But you could, the Inca Trail, you go and do that.
Yeah, and Glenn will be sitting up the top with his staff, and his mustache will be down to here at that point, and I'll be like, hey, Glenn, I need some guidance.
He'll look like that saucer at Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
He's got that bad mustache.
Yeah,
Oh, that's horrible.
exactly like
That'll be him. But you go to the top of the Inca Trail and you'll be able to buy a fucking Coke or something with your Zucoins.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Not Coke, Coca-Cola.
Glenn will be like, yeah, there's a Coke and heroin vending machine here that you can use Zucoins with.
Oh, well, everyone's got to make money.
Some crypto advice just before you go, Jason. Crypto advice for the fans if they're not involved, or how do you even get started, like what should they be thinking about?
Well, you're a little bit backwards, you haven't got started. It's pretty easy. You get an account with one of the exchanges. There's lots of them.
Yep.
We're only on the exchanges, the smaller ones, because the big ones charge you $450,000 to be on them. It's
Jesus.
a fucking joke.
Yeah, okay.
So, BritTex or the two, you'll hear about what exchanges we're on in the States.
Yep.
We've got 5 around the world, one in South Korea, one in Japan, one in Europe, 2 in the States, 1 here. So anyway, the reality is you get on that exchange, you get an account, so you can buy and sell, and then you basically go and buy little bits of coins, hold on to them, buy regularly. If you want to make money in this business, you better buy regularly and hold on to them. Obviously, when you want to cash out, don't think that you're a genius and you're going to cash out at the top. Just do it when you need it. If you need it, watch out for capital gains tax, because the government in this country, Thomas Kane, who's one of the great accountants here in Brisbane, young fella, does all that with the crypto and your accountancy. So, make sure you don't get stuck with big tax bills. Other than that, just get on the exchange, get an account, and just buy a little bit. It's going to be hopefully a hell of a lot more profitable than betting on the horses, for example.
I had a pretty good weekend, actually.
Oh, yes.
And
It's always good when they win.
Yeah, always gamble responsibly. No, Jason, thanks so much for making the effort, man. It was great to talk to you.
It's all right,
again.
man. We're back on the road, back to work, but thanks so much for doing it. We did it early, if you don't know, so we got these guys before they go to work and racketeering and shit, so it's...
I really appreciate it. And Mum will be really happy. A lot less fucks this time. So
Sorry, Mum.
She's stoked. But no, I really enjoyed speaking. Yeah, excited for Zucoin and see what the future holds.
Keep an eye out for them. You now know what you didn't know before we started. Right, Jackie Chan? Oh, yes. He'll be,
man.
You'll be thankful. You'll be buying me a beer because you'll be that rich.
I'm gonna try and get some
cider. Buy me a cider. Mate,
try and get some $59.
You'll be like Crazy Rich Asians on crypto.
Yeah. They need an Australian version of Crazy Rich Asians, don't they? Oh, really? Oh, he's not as Asian as you. Oh, he's pretty Asian.
You'll surpass him. He's not hardcore Asian like you.
Hey guys, like and subscribe and comment, and I hope you enjoyed this and learn a little bit about crypto and this lovely man here. And yeah, next time we speak, it'll be after the Brisbane Olympics, and this guy will be wearing a suit of gold. Yeah.
Oh yes, everything will be gold.
Excited. I'm going to sell these cameras to buy some Zucoin.
Ferrari's out the front.
Yeah, it's all.
And then they'll be fucking electric anyway. Who cares?
It'll still look nice.
All right.
See you later, guys. Cheers.
Thanks,
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Jackie Chan.